Hi everyone, it's Dolphin here. In today's video I would like to show you my updated Poison Flurry rogue. I spent some time testing many different variants of this build and the one I am going to show you seems the best for now. Some of you also asked me to show my gear, so we will go over that, as well as perfect affixes you could run on your items. At the end I will also provide you with some skill rotations for the build. So let's begin. This build uses combo point specialization. It is great with Flurry as it increases its damage significantly. For the basic skill, I am running Puncture. The reason for that is the fundamental Puncture upgrade that allows you to make an enemy vulnerable. In the core skill section, I put 5 points into Flurry along with enhanced Flurry that provides healing and improved Flurry that allows you to make all the enemies around you vulnerable. In terms of passives, I put 3 points into Sturdy for some damage reduction, 3 points into Siphoning Strikes for an amazing healing, and 3 points into Stutter Step for some movement speed. Agility section might be a surprise, because I decided not to play any active skills here. Instead, I put 3 points into Rapid Gambits. The reason for this is that this build requires you to apply poison to as many enemies as possible. Having the evade cooldown reduced is a great help. When running this passive along with Mangler's aspect, you can use evade really often. Additionally, I run 3 points in Conclusive and 1 point in Trick Attack for 12% increased critical strike chance. I also play fully upgraded Weapon Mastery for some global damage multiplier. Next, the Subterfuge skills. Poison Trap is yet another way to apply poison to the enemies. Enhanced Poison Trap knocks enemies down, which synergizes with the conclusive passive I have mentioned before. Subverting Poison Trap is a damage boost. Dark Shroud is a great defensive skill. It provides a lot of damage reduction. Using Subverting Dark Shroud upgrade also gives additional movement speed. Now, I am aware that running Concealment is not the most common decision. However, once you start running higher tier Nightmare dungeons, crowd control effects are going to be a big deal. Therefore, having an unstoppable skill in your set becomes necessary. Running Countering Stealth will also help you deal additional damage and heal thanks to Siphoning Strikes passive. As an addition, running 3 points into Exploit and Malice can increase your damage by a lot. For the imbuement skills, I obviously run Poison Imbuement along with the enhanced Poison Imbuement upgrade. Additionally, I put 1 point into Deadly Venom and 3 points into Debilitating Toxins for additional damage reduction. This build doesn't run any ultimate skills, but I put 3 points into Trap Mastery passive. This provides you with another 12% critical strike chance. I also put 3 points into Second Wind passive. Many of the aspects are lucky hits, so having this additional 50% chance is a good way of proccing them more often. As a key passive, I am running Momentum. Playing Mangler's aspect makes a lot of enemies around you dazed, which grants a momentum stacks. Because of that, you will be running on 3 stacks almost all the time. Now, let's move on to the legendary aspects on items. Remember that the aspects can be played on different types of equipment. If you don't remember where you can put certain aspects, here's an infographic to help you. So, starting off with defensive aspects. I am running Aspect of Disobedience because armor is really important stat and having it increased by 50% is a vast boost to your defense. Next, I am running Aspect of Might. As this build's specialization are combo points, you will be using your basic skill a lot. Puncture is a marksman skill and this build has a lot of critical strike chance, so I've decided to run Ambau's aspect for additional defense provided by more Dark Shroud stacks. Moving on to the offensive aspects, the first in line is the aspect of Expectant. It synergizes with combo points as both of them require you to use your basic attack 3 times. However, this aspect should not be played on neither two-handed weapon nor the amulet, because the multiplayer does not affect the overall damage, only the percent you gain with every attack. Aspect of Encircling Blades is a core aspect of this build. I play it on my two-handed weapon to double the damage boost. On the amulet, I play Edgemaster's aspect. Because you use your basic attack quite often, you don't struggle with the energy, so having additional 30% damage boost is always nice. Aspect of Bursting Venoms allows you to use Poison Imbuement more often. As I said earlier, this build really benefits from many enemies being poisoned. so resetting the cooldown of this skill helps with that by a lot. At last, Rapid Aspect. Having more attack speed allows you to stack combo points and use your Flurry faster. I also run Condemnation Unique Dagger. It boosts your damage by up to 40%, so it's an excellent choice. But if you do not have this one, you can run Vengeful Aspect or Aspect of Unstable Imbuement instead. When playing this build, you might have a problem with your energy during boss fights. To prevent that from happening, you can play Energizing Aspect. However, when you do not see this problem, you can run one of the offensive aspects I mentioned before. I am running one utility aspect, which is Mangler's Aspect. It is really important as it allows you to grant momentum stacks as well as reduce your evade cooldown. In terms of gear, I have prepared you a list of affixes that are in my opinion perfect for this build. Maximum Life is one of the best defensive affixes, so try to play it anywhere you can. Also, you have a lot of vulnerable damage and other damage modifiers in your skills and Paragon board, so you don't have to run them on your items. Instead, try to get as much critical strike chance and critical strike damage as you can. My current gear is far from perfect, but it still allows me to complete tier 50 Nightmare dungeons. On weapons, I run emeralds for vulnerable damage. On armor, I play topaz instead of rubies, because additional health you get from the gems is calculated only from your basic health. So, assuming that you have around 4000 basic health on level 90, you would only get 800 additional health. The same amount you can get from a single affix. On the other hand, playing topaz gives you 50% damage reduction while control impaled, which helps you survive some CC chains. In terms of jewelry, since armor is much more important than elemental resistance, there is only one option. Paragon boards should be individual, but I will explain you my choices. So, on a starting board, I've decided to unlock Resilience rare node. I didn't go with Prime, as the damage boost it provides is multiplicative, not additive, so 10% is not much at all. On the glyph socket, I picked Tracker for additional damage against poisoned enemies. It also increases the time enemies are poisoned. Next board I attached is an Exploit Weakness board, because this 15% damage boost it provides is a global multiplier, so it actually increases your damage by 15%. I also run rare nodes for damage reduction, vulnerable damage, and damage versus elites. For the glyph, I chose Closer for additional damage with cutthroat skills. It also increases your defense. To the left, I attached Tricks of the Trade board. This build uses both Marksman and Cutthroat skills alternately, so it is a great damage boost. For the rare nodes, I run Damage and Damage Reduction to close enemies, and additional damage versus elites. Glyph I am using gives increased critical strike damage with core skills. It can also help you with energy cost. To the top of the Exploit Weakness board, I run Chip Shot. This build allows you to daze and knock down enemies quite often, so having this 25% damage boost is not hard to achieve. I also run Turf Glyph for some offense and defense against close enemies. In terms of skill rotation, the build is pretty straightforward. The basic combo is using your basic skill 3 times to get combo points and then using Flurry once. In between, you should use your poison imbuement as often as possible, because its cooldown can be reset anyways. I tend to keep my poison trap for elite fights, because I am able to one-shot trash mobs anyway. When fighting a big group of mobs, remember that you can use evade incredibly often, so use it to position yourself and apply poison from the poison imbuement to as many mobs as possible. That would be it for today. If you want to try the build for yourself, you can find the link to it in the description. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please consider leaving a like button and subscribing. It's free and gives a lot of motivation. See you in the next one, bye!